Hello once again, and welcome to Learn Python 3 the Hard Way, Exercise 14. The title is Prompting and Passing, and what that means is you're going to learn how to prompt people for information from both the command line by passing the command line options into your Python program, or prompting them with the regular input style. And then you're going to pass that information to print strings. So you should have typed all this in. Remember, you have to do that from the book before doing the videos. And there's nothing new in this. This is, again, to demonstrate the concept that all of programming is based on the combination of things that go together. Okay? So what this means is, if I can do argv and I can do input, I can combine the two. And if I have f strings and I have triple quote strings, I can again combine the two. And let me increase this font some so I can get nice, good, big fonts there. Oops, that's not what I want. So once we do that, once we understand this, and this is sort of like the beginning of this book is teaching you very basic things with strings and printing, because that's everywhere, and it's a good way to lead into other topics. But also the idea that you can combine any two things to craft a new thing. Okay, so let's run this real quick. Let me save, flip over to here, and let me see. Python ex14.py. Oh, and I made the classic mistake that I didn't run it the way I'm supposed to run it. So I'm going to do zshaw like that. Because remember, this takes a command line argument. One command line argument right there. Username. Remember, the first argument is for free. It's just the name of the script. Okay, do you like me, zshaw? Let's do yes. And where do you live? I live in Florida. And what kind of computer do you have? I have now I'm using a Microsoft Surface. And there we go. There's nothing strange about this. At this point, you should be able to take this apart pretty easily. The only difference is, again, just combining. So if I can do argv and I can do input. Now the question comes up, which is better for getting input from a user? For most, I would say 90% of all the command line tools anyone uses, they only want it to work this way. They only want to be able to do that. They might want prompting in the case of something that requires a fairly interactive setup of some kind. Okay, but for the most part, nobody likes scripts that prompt you. Now, you're doing this because later on we're going to make a game that requires prompting. But for the most part, if you're going to make a script, you want command line arguments to be the main way that people interact with it. All right, let's see if we can break this in any interesting ways. Well, we could do some quick modifications. Let's try this. Let's turn this into an F string, and we're going to do script like that. So that will become our script, our prompt down there, and it'll tell us what file we're running. Let's try that out. So see, now it says ex14.py. Pretty straightforward. So now let's do, you can type just garbage for all these. All right, pretty interesting. So again, we're combining. We can pass the prompt as a string to the input of the prompt. Again, combining. I know I can make a variable that has a string in it, so then I can pass that prompt to here. The advantage of that is you can do what I just did, where I can, in one line, one place, I can add the name of the script that is being run. I don't have to go and change everywhere that the input is used. Very handy. We can do other things. So you can add two strings together, right? So I could do this. I can say prompt plus, and then do another F string. And let's do it as, let's do username. Now that I have the username, I can combine those. So let's see what we got. And where do you live? And see, it tacked on the zshaw at the end. So I can go like that, I can go like that. There we go. Now, I don't have to do that there. I can do it instead up here, like this. Might be a better place to do it. And there we go. We're sort of making the same kind of command prompt that you might get from PowerShell or the Linux or a terminal from OS X, where it tells me what directory I'm in. And then some operating systems tells me what username I am. Okay, so breaking this is, I don't know, it's all the same stuff for breaking it. Let me show you one more thing. Where do you live? What kind of computer name? Really quick, let's just say I'm going to do a new one. I'm going to do print f. Let's do an f string that's how old are you? Username. Okay, let's do that. And then I'm going to do age equals input prompt. Okay. So I'm going to show you something. And I'm going to do int prompt inside here. Like that. Oh, no, not prompt, age. And make this an f string. Okay. So what we've got is that f string is going to do the conversion, the integer conversion, inside its little thing, inside its text replace. So I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say 42. And notice it said you're 42. Okay. Now, here's the question. Do you do the conversion here, or do you do the conversion where you need it to be an integer? I say you do it almost always this way, and I'll show you why. If I input the wrong thing here, I'm going to get a different error message than if I do it up there, at least in theory. So let me try that. And I'm going to do garbage for the age. So it's going to show you inside this line. Yep, and it's the same error message. In some cases within Python, you get a different error message when it's inside the braces than you would if you use it on a Python line. So we know that it's in here. Another problem is sometimes it doesn't tell you which one of your string components, which one of your parts is the one that's wrong. So, and then the other reason is you should catch errors as early as possible. So if I do it here, I catch the error right when they entered it. If I do it when I display it, I catch the error much later, and it's much more difficult to recover from it. Okay, so that's an advanced breaking session. Go ahead and go in here and do all the breaking that you can, all the usual syntax errors and problems and things like that, subtle bugs and whatnot. Play with it. Do a little bit of debug practice, printing out what the prompt is at each stage, things like that, and then move on to exercise 15.